Qassem Suleimani's death has not gone to waste. It and those of his comrades have brought vast crowds onto the streets of Tehran, potentially rekindling Iran's 40-year-old Islamic revolution in the face of an attack ordered by the old enemy. Death to America, they chanted. Later, death to Israel and death to England too. Much of this sounds more routine than dangerous. But this grief is heartfelt. Soleimani was a leading guardian of the flame of Shia Islam. He'd won medals fighting the Iraq of Saddam Hussein. In their eyes, he'd helped liberate Shia in Iraq and Syria from Sunni oppression. And so Iran's viceroy of blood-stained mayhem across the Middle East is now revered like a Shia saint.
They think they've killed Soleimani, which they've not killed. These all people are Soleimani. Kia Soleimani? Soleimani dasta bala! Qassem Suleimani! We're all Soleimani. He thinks he killed one of us. He hasn't done. Look how many more Soleimani we have.
We will retaliate for every drop of his blood. America must know that even if hundreds or thousands like Soleimani are gone, millions will rise up from his blood and continue his path.
Soleimani's boss, Iran's supreme leader, wept openly over his coffin. Ayatollah Khamenei is a mullah mulling his options. His promise of severe revenge could start a war by mistake, a war nobody claims to want. And so could America's president, who has threatened to attack 52 Iranian sites, some of them cultural, if Iran retaliates. Tonight, Iran's president responded by recalling how the US Navy shot down an airliner in the 1980s, killing over 200. Those who refer to the number 52 should also remember the number 290, Mr. Rouhani tweeted. Never threaten the Iranian nation. The Islamic Republic could wage asymmetric warfare across the world without warning, though for now both sides are launching unguided missiles of rhetoric.
Crazy Trump, you arrogant plaything of Zionism. Don't think that everything is over with my father's martyrdom. My father had a father who stood by his side, and we too, like our father, will now stand by him.
Last night, Iran announced it would no longer observe limits on its centrifuges, which enrich uranium, though inspections will continue. The nuclear deal Iran signed in 2015 was supposed to last 15 years. It will be lucky if it makes 5. And Donald Trump gave this order for it to be abandoned long ago. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, the president tweeted today, in another warning that he will respond with force if necessary. In Iraq, most of the political hierarchy turned up to receive condolences for the killing of Iraqi Shia commanders in the same airstrike which killed the Iranian general. American and British diplomats are now battling to prevent their troops from being expelled, though ironically it was the US and British invasion of 2003 which allowed these very men to eventually take power. In Iran today, General Soleimani's successor made it clear his real legacy is what is now playing out in Iraq, which is getting the Americans out.
We promise to continue down Martyr Soleimani's path as firmly as before, with the help of God. And in return for his martyrdom, our aim is to get rid of America from the region in several steps, and we will continue on our path towards global rule by our Imam, Mahdi.
Tonight, the general's coffin reached the holy city of Qom. It is both deliberate and spontaneous, Iran's biggest funeral since Ayatollah Khomeini died 30 years ago. And his Islamic revolution against American dominance lives on.
Well, Jonathan joins us now from Beirut. Jonathan, have we got any clearer idea of how the Iranians might retaliate?
Kathy, I don't think we do, no. I think we'll have to wait for the weeping and the wailing to stop tomorrow when General Soleimani is finally put in the ground. The response of the Iranians and their Shia proxies in Iraq has so far been relatively restrained. We've seen rocket attacks near coalition bases in which coalition troops haven't been hurt. We saw a minor cyber attack, but clearly Ayatollah Khamenei will come under pressure from hardliners to do more. Boris Johnson and other world leaders are weighing in, trying to de-escalate the situation. But I think the problem is that the only message the Iranian regime might listen to is this, which is wait until November. Try to sit out the presidency of Donald Trump. See if he is re-elected or not. Because if he isn't, then the nuclear deal could be restored, and US sanctions, which for the Iranians are really at the heart of this dispute, could be lifted once again. But if you're in Tehran, that might seem a very long time to wait. And in the meantime, this particular situation, this war by Twitter, if you like, could escalate into a real war by mistake.